Hi, everybody. I'm a big boy now. I'm reading ads by myself. Live flow ad take 4. Have you ever exported a QuickBooks Online report to a Google Sheet and spent time customizing that sheet, invited others to collaborate on that sheet, and then discovered that this piece of sheet QuickBooks data has changed, and then you got to go back to the QuickBooks, start the process all over again? Well, fear not, fellow listeners, because LiveFlow has solved that problem. LiveFlow connects to QuickBooks Online, and it connects Google Sheets live in the name. QuickBooks Online, Google Sheets, LiveFlow is the bridge between those, live back and forth. So you have the sheets automatically update with the most recent QuickBooks data. Change something in QuickBooks, it changes in the sheet. Boom, live, awesome. Accountants are using LiveFlow today to create automatically updating budget and actual reports and consolidated reports. Yes, they do consolidated reports, so a multiple QuickBooks Online companies can move into one Google Sheet. That's right. To learn more about using LiveFlow at your firm, go to liveflow.io/sons. liveflow.io. That rhymes, and I'm pretty sure it's intentional. liveflow.io/sons. Not sure if it's a forward or backward slash, but you get it. Slash. liveflow.io/sons. Whatever slash that other websites use, just do that. Like the HTTPML stuff, that slash. I'm pretty sure it's a backslash, but I don't know. Slash. liveflow.io/sons. Peace out.
Here comes another excellent candidate for BotKeeper. Have you come to learn your fate?
Yes, Bot the Wise. I want to know the future.
Ah, yes, the future. There is so much to know.
Don't you need a crystal ball or something?
Crystal balls are for amateurs, just to impress the tourists.
Okay.
What do you want to know of the future?
I want to know what kind of shape my accounting firm will be in a few years.
Yes, I can see it. Your staff, they are endlessly entering data into your online GL, struggling to connect to your clients' financial accounts, spending all their time doing low-value bookkeeping.
That sounds a lot like the present.
This is what will come to pass, unless
Yes? Yes?
you embrace the future of bookkeeping.
And what is the future of bookkeeping?
The future of bookkeeping is BotKeeper. BotKeeper automates your bookkeeping. It will brighten your accountant's future and release them from the drudgery of data entry, reconciliation, and verification. And now, if you schedule a meeting on or before March 31st, 2022, you could win a year of BotKeeper bookkeeping automation free. Just visit botkeeper.com/win for details and rules.
A free year of BotKeeper? That sounds amazing, but I already use an online GL.
BotKeeper works with QuickBooks and Xero, the most popular online GLs. Stop struggling. BotKeeper automates it all and learns as it goes.
Sounds like it might take a long time to get up and running.
Not at all. BotKeeper helps you get set up. Most clients are onboarded in as little as a month and see the savings the very next quarter.
Now that sounds like a future I want. How do I get started?
Simple. Just visit botkeeper.com/win.
I'll do it. Thanks, Bot.
Wait, I'm getting one more thing from the spirits.
What is it?
Yeah, you owe me $50.
It sounds
Now
crisp.
It sounds beautiful.
It
Luscious.
sounds buttery. Luscious, yeah. Wow. Wu-Tang. So,
I
and I'm
just
wearing a
remembered
Pickle Rick
I
shirt.
remembered I had that shirt, and I was like, oh, this will make Scotty happy.
They're partners in rhyme, right?
Yeah.
So
I knew it'd
we're
make
going to
you
do
happy.
partners today, and they are partners in rhyme, not partners in crime. Like we said last week, we got partners in rhyme, and we have partners in podcasts too, and we have tech partners today. Partners, Sons of CPA's bonus episode where Nix, Scott, and Kenji Plus share a small but useful piece of practical advice as it relates to running their professional accounting firms. This episode is brought to you by the letter P.
Can I say something real quick, Scott?
Yes, sir.
I'm just pleased to participate in this podcast production pertaining to the particular peculiarities of partnerships. Do I win? Do I win something?
Has he been thinking of that all week?
Woo,
on our
Who let
Wu-Tang.
Kenji crash his party again? I thought that was a one-time deal.
You're not the boss of me. Mom, you're not the boss of me.
Dang. We have a nice assortment of T-shirts and hoodies today.
I literally changed out of the one I was in because after you dropped me that song today, I was like, oh, I gotta go find that Wu-Tang T-shirt I have because after you literally threw me that Wu-Tang song this morning on our.
I feel like I'm living this now because I listened to it this morning, and you know how I feel about Logic. He's got a track that has every one of the members of Wu-Tang, living or dead, all on one track, and it's
ODB's
Wu-Tang
on it,
forever.
yeah.
Wu-Tang. So I was in a pickle earlier today, but now I feel like I found my place.
You were in a pickle? You thought you were in a pickle?
That was because I got pickle on my shirt. Pickle Rick. You get it? You get it? Yeah. So
look how boring Nicole's shirt is compared to our shirts.
So I got a message today or yesterday actually from Kenji, and he said we need to tighten up the partners episode because we didn't talk about tech partners.
That's right.
And I feel like there's a big piece that was missing of that episode. We left an empty space for our tech partners, so that why not do a part 2? Yeah, I mean, where do you want to start? Kenji, I'll let you lead.
Okay, I'll do the hot take on this one. I use the word tech partners. We have a bunch of tech stack partners. I think it's a terrible word, like calling them partners. I think it's I don't like, we do it, all of us do it. I don't like using the word partners for them just because it reminds me of like the way we use advisory. It's just so overused. It's an overused word that doesn't mean anything. Like when I think about my equity partner, my business partner, like Matthew, that could not be more different than what these tech partners are to me. I mean, they're fine. So we all do it. I think we'll continue doing it. We're part of how many partner programs are we all part of together? That's fine.
Oh,
like, I think it's a
partner advisory councils too. Like that's it. That's in the branding. Like we're branded with that.
So what would you call them?
So I thought about this because I knew you'd ask that. Actually, I knew that Nicole would ask that, not Scott. Scott would be off doing some other. And I was like, all right, what do you call this? So I looked it up, and I was literally looking at the definitions of partner, right? And one definition is a person who shares an intimate relationship with someone else. Ooh, that's
Well, there you go. And we covered that one. So we covered the obvious lowest hanging fruit, right? No pun intended there, but
the other one was one who is associated with another. Like that's like the most generic, like basic definition ever. Like you're just associated. So would you say it should be there are tech associates? I mean, that sounds dumb. You're just associated with somebody. Like that doesn't sound like a partner. But I think that's the way that I feel sometimes about how I interact with our tech partners. I don't know what you guys feel about that.
Sure. No, we're associated with them. And you said they need us just as much as we need them, if not more. We're the ones paying them. We're putting them in business. So have they shifted the relationship by saying partner to make everybody feel like we're on equal footing and on the same pedestal or same platform, right? And we're using their platform and we need them too. And,
it's either they're more of like not a team member. They're a tool. They're supporting us. Some of them are helping us. A
Some
partner,
do.
yeah.
It's something like that though. Like it's like a team member, like a colleague, an associate, something like that. It's like we have to work together. It helps us all if we work together, but like it's not life or death. Like, I mean, with a business partner who you own a business with, like that's, I won't say quite ride or die because partnerships break up that way, but I mean, that's pretty damn serious. You are super aligned. What happens to me kind of happens to you. Like if our business gets sued, guess what? Oh, you got sued too. Like your partner gets sued. I mean, it's just, right? Or we hit the lottery and, have some huge windfall. Like they win in that too. Whereas It's just a different relationship with.
We want to
tech
see them have
partners.
more skin in the game. Is what you're saying.
I think so.
Well, it's not.
I
I don't know if we want to see that, but words are powerful, and words change the paradigm in the relationship. And I think that once you frame it a certain way, then you look at it differently. And I got to admit that I look at our partners differently because I call them partners, and they're not the products that I use. You know, they shifted from products to partners, and they shifted from being vendors to being equals almost. I mean, not necessarily equals. And I usually play that up to the benefit because I like the mutual relationship, and I like that they scratch our back and we scratch theirs. And I think we all have good relationships with our vendors, but that we call partners. And it's because of that shift. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to look at it from a negative side, but I love to have that other perspective.
I agree with you though on that, Scott. I think it's something that I try to be conscious about, of not calling them vendors. And I say that because I've hated it when we've been called vendors. Like I've had that with clients before in the past. We're like, oh, you're my vendor. You work for me. And I just, sucks. Like that's a shitty, I don't like that. And so I try to make sure that we don't use that same language. And it's fun. I love our relationships with all the tech companies. It's just not the same thing as a partner. Not that a word can't have multiple meanings, right? Or be on a spectrum. But I think it's one of those, to me, it's like gets overused. And I think I'm curious with you guys about this. Like, I love working with all these tech partners, but like, I don't know if like I don't know what your first partner advisory council was, or the first one of these you got them to pay attention
our first
to. Like,
time. Now we're going to talk about our first time ever. So this is this is great. So I was a partner advisor virgin before this. That was my high school.
Nicole, aren't you supposed to keep him on the rails?
I do usually, but then when there's two of
She's
you,
distracted today though. She's not even in it. Like her head is somewhere else. She's
I've
like
been here the
taking
whole time.
notes.
We just were on a call for an hour. I'm taking notes because I have questions to ask you guys, and then by the time I think of something to say, you guys keep talking, and then the thought's gone.
So,
and then I'm on
Nicole,
to the next one.
You have the floor.
Okay,
so
here's what I think we should do. Here's what I think we should do. We should talk about what makes a good app partner, and then at the end of it, we'll choose what we should call an app partner instead of the partner.
I like where your head's at. See, she was thinking.
Thank God
she
someone's
was
here to try to get things done versus you and I just ramble.
I appreciate it.
But but I'll just ask this, and I hope we'll roll into that. Like, I am curious, like the first time, Scott, keep it on the rails. The first time you became like, someone approached you like, hey, I'd like you to be part of our partner advisory program. I want you to be a partner of our software.
I want to hear Nicole's first.
Did you?
Yeah.
Like, I had a perception that like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to get a bunch of leads. It's going to be like a super important relationship. I think I held it up in some place that was like maybe a little bit ridiculous. I don't know. I don't know how you felt about it. Like when you got on these, I love being on them, but like, has your mindset changed from when you first got on a partner advisory council now that you're on others?
Well, yeah, you're talking about a partner advisory council, which is our way of giving feedback to them. But I think that there's also different ways to look at partners. Like my first experience with
she
tech
the question
partner
already.
was Xero, and Joe Lacayo was my account manager. I just started my business. I knew nobody. I had no idea what I was doing. Joel. And he was like, "Hey, let's go get coffee." And he made a bunch of introductions, which I think is a huge. I think Xero is really good at that. Even after Joel, I had Alex, and he also made a lot of introductions. So I think that's one thing that partner should do, is they should connect you to people, especially if you're new and you're just starting your business. And then on the different spectrums, when I see some of these startups pop up, it's usually just the CEO, right? That they're like cold emailing you, and I mean, that's the part where you can have a lot of influence too, when it's just the CEO and it's exciting. And then on the other spectrum is when they have a bunch of funding. Like Relay just got a bunch of funding, and now I have a new account manager, and it's awesome. She reached out to me and she's like, if you need anything, email me. And then she even talked about, she had a little slide about the roadmap for 2022, which I really like when they do that, when they tell you what's coming up. So I think there's all different ways.
I've ghosted her We got a new one too, and I've ghosted them. I was like, I don't want to hear anything new.
From Relay? No, definitely. Every time I've talked, Xero
out,
recently reached out, and then I got like a bunch of discounts on. Yeah, so I would say talk to your account managers because they can hook you up with stuff because it's not coming out of their pocket.
Yeah.
Well, they refresh, like they renew your loyalty and your appreciation for the brand, like, and that's something that I haven't needed that. I'm just
they do, but then also
apathetic.
I started thinking like we need to do this more with our clients because whenever I touch base with someone like my account manager, it does bring back more brand loyalty.
You get that spark that you felt the first time.
Yes.
So
yep.
that, you know, we talk about this a lot, and I think it's a product of what they've put out. And I'll weave this into my first experience because I was a QuickBooks user and I just saw programs as technology, and you know, I never really even called them solutions. They were just tools, right? And when you think of high school and you think of somebody that you call a tool, you know, like that's like I used to call people tools when they sucked. You know, it was just a tool. You just used it, and you can grab another one, and you just use people and use things, right? I didn't use people. Sorry, I'm not. You use things and you love people, right? So products have turned into a passion for me. Like I love Xero. Xero changed my life because I went from QuickBooks to that's a company that, you know, traditionally speaking, and we always say this, they care about the profits, they care about the shareholders, they are not partners in a way that some of our other partners are. And Xero changed the game for a lot of us. I was so honored to be picked for the partner council. Like I think I applied the year before. I saw it in like a little thing, and I wasn't picked the first time I applied, and I didn't apply the second time, but I got something in the mail, and it was like, or something email or something. And I was like, oh man, I think I still have that printed out somewhere. Or if I was in my office, I would have. I thought that
you
was
slip through the cracks.
Yeah, I think the simple way for you to look at it for you, Scott, is you don't have a QuickBooks vape. You have a Xero vape.
Ooh,
right? We
true.
know where your loyalties from a partnership perspective lie.
They're in the vein. I can inhale some Xero, and it's like I also have the loyalty to the color blue just as part of my life. You know, that's just I grew up with that. So like when you know, there's a lot of subconscious reasons why I probably like Xero, and I'm not going to dive into that too deep, but I will say that I have an affinity for the color blue, and I don't even know if that's the right phrase, but it's
I'll say something.
Yeah, say something.
Please,
the reason
Nicole,
why Intuit,
Nicole, please say something.
The reason why Intuit is not a good partner is they will buy apps and shut them down and shut down the Xero integration. That is not a good partner to accountants if you do that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
You know what's interesting? I agree. I think that's one aspect of when they shut those down. I asked my team last week. I had some of them in the office, and this is our team. We call an employee success team. They handle a lot of the technical challenges and issues on behalf of other team members. So they're constantly talking to our tech partners. And I just asked them like, hey, who right now of all of our tech partners, like who you feel like a lot of love from, like who's really helping you out? I mean, I don't know. I'm not in there dealing with all the day-to-day stuff. And I was surprised they came back to like, actually Intuit's kind of killing it right now. I was like, what? I was very surprised. And I was like, hold up, why is this? And they're just like, their response time is super quick. Their turnaround time. And I'm like, it hasn't always been that way. So I'm the last person usually to throw some huge QuickBooks love, but it was interesting when I asked our team, like what mattered to them most. That was one thing that they cared about. It's not probably the same thing as a firm owner I care about, but they were like, if I got an issue, who gets back to me super quick? And so it was weird. We had two. We had Intuit, and then another one of our tech partners, CollBox. And they're like you mentioned, Nicole, like they're small still. So like their founders reach out to us. So like they're super quick on things. So it's just kind of funny, like where this huge, massive organization, the 800-pound gorilla Intuit, and then also this early startup like in the space, CollBox, we're like, our team's like, oh, we love them. And they're like, oh, just because they're super quick to get back to us. I was like, oh, interesting.
Shout out.
I mean, so I guess if for tech partners who are listening to this, like you want to make a lot of accountants happy, just be responsive. People can't stand when people don't.
You know what my
get
pet
back to
peeve
you.
is?
Oh,
When
another
you
two
chat
Ps.
support Bill.com, they always ask how you are. I'm like, I do not want you to ask me how I am. I want you to solve my problem as quickly as possible.
Oh man, that was a pet peeve, and then there's also another two P's that I had to mention, Pat Perez, but we won't go into that. Just Google Pat
gosh.
Perez and Jordan's, and you will see some cool shit.
Yeah.
So let's reel this one back in. I like where that's going because the companies with a lot of money, they have that for a reason, and they're successful for a reason, and QuickBooks tends to always come around. Their cloud product took some time to get there, but QuickBooks Online is good now. You know, like it is a product that's worth using, and I think their support was the thing that people complained about most. I think they focused on it, and that's probably why they can, flex their muscles now because they've got the money to spend. They need the time.
They got some deep pockets. Stop laughing, Nicole.
Pockets.
You gotta hide your face so I don't laugh. You just make me.
Scott hides my face on the LinkedIn now with my pop.
I didn't do that this week. I don't think I did it this week. I only did it last week.
Your question earlier, Nicole, wasn't it like what makes good partners?
Yeah.
Is that yeah. I am curious what you guys think about Nicole, you mentioned, and you're right. Lacayo, Joel, we love Joel. He's such a badass. Our Xero account manager got me on XPack. That's how I got on, through them. And I think I hadn't thought about that, but if you have a relationship manager which many of the tech partners do, it's up to you you have to take advantage of that. You ask them for, people think, oh, it's just going to be, can I get some discounts or can I get some training on this? Like your point, Nicole, was like, ask to get to meet people. Like, who can you hook me up with and connect with? Like, that's a great idea. That's a great thing, I think, that is valuable that people don't think about. I mean, support, my team mentioned, like, they like support. Like, hey, give me quick, responsive support. Don't beat around the bush with, hey, how you doing today? Like, just get the damn thing solved. I'm curious what other things you guys, like, have been, like, helpful.
So for partners, I think there's an alignment in respect. I feel like that's something that, it could mean a lot of things, but I think respecting your situation and your time and your business and your position and everything, and not trying to push things on you. There's a level of accountability on both parts when it comes to somebody selling you something that you don't need, and then later you find out, and then they're fucking dipped out and they're gone. Like, I've seen this happened early on with Xero, and they really screwed up with us, and I almost left them because they were like, you need to become a gold partner here, sign this contract and take on all these clients. As they reverted, they switched gears and they gave us another rep, and they made up for it. Gusto did the same thing early on when they were Zen. It wasn't that they did anything. All they did was actually just raise the price, but they jacked it up, and they said we were grandfathered into a rate that would never change with certain clients, and then it changed. Like, you don't tell somebody something and then change that. That is a principle of the matter. Another P word, but
I think there's a P word, Scott. I would say I think you're missing in this. I think is relatively important. That's getting paid. I mean,
rev share, yeah.
Rev share,
yeah.
I didn't even have that on my list.
Xero gave us. I gotta use my $2,000. I got
Scott. Do you think you like their rev share? Xero's best.
Well, I used to when it was like $8,000. Now it's $2,000. It used to be more. Well, that was cool. But yeah, I mean, it's yes, I think they're. I don't even know what the other clients rev. Well, no, Gusto's is pretty good. They drop us like $1,200 a month. I mean, that's
really
that's my favorite rev share by far.
That's my favorite too, because I definitely love the way that they're positioned.
Paid. Like, they just get you paid, and they just hit you with that direct deposit. Boom, every month.
I love seeing that though. That's
awesome.
Bonus. Yeah. That's like, all right, cool. Like, we can charge for this.
It's so easy. There's none of this like, oh, we're going to give you a discount. Then you pass it to your client, you mark it up and all that stuff, which just drives me crazy.
They got it right.
I think that, to me, that's the best one out there.
We pivoted from what I was complaining about them, but we pivoted. Yeah.
I don't like the option to like pass the savings on to your client, because then you feel guilty if you're like, no, I want the money.
Not if you
I don't want that.
guilty.
It's like when you go and like you buy something at Subway, and then they want you to leave a tip. I'm like, oh, now I just feel bad if I don't.
I don't like
way
it.
too
Yeah,
nice.
I don't like the tip things when people are behind us. This is Nick's tips, so let's keep this in mind. But when somebody's behind me and they're looking, and I'm like, do I feel like I have to feel obligated to give this tip because they're looking over my shoulder?
The
Like,
worst is I was at lunch with a friend yesterday, and like you split the bill, and you're like, you're kind of doing.
What are you tipping? Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
looking over. We weren't that close enough to where I'm like, I just wanted to make sure I was not, going to be the. So we were both eyeballing each other. We should have just said like, "What are you going to
Should've
tip?"
asked.
So you that's what you guys appreciate about me, because I'll talk about money and shit. Like I have no shame in that. I guess I'm a little shameless when it comes to money, but I will say that shit out loud because that's
Scott,
the hardest thing to talk about.
I've yet to find something you won't say out loud about anything. Which
That's
is
true.
one of the reasons we love you.
That's true. Yeah. I'm trying to lean into that, but sometimes I should lean back. How they say in the Psalms, lean in. Lean
Okay, back to partners.
Yeah. Lean back.
Okay, so
Back.
Gusto's been building out some education, people advisory. What was the other one? The first one they did before people advisory that was more like actually payroll related. Anyway, that's another thing partners can do.
Did you say actually payroll? Okay.
Well, there's one that was more owning a firm, the people
Well, there's
advisory.
another advisory council that we're on, FreshBooks. What do you guys think of this? This is a whole nother GL.
I'm a
Another
little bit
product.
worried that it's going to be a lot of work because I have never used FreshBooks, and I feel like
They've already reached out to me a few times, and I got to do my certification, but I said maybe my team will do it. I said I don't know.
Oh,
we
really?
supposed
Are
to
they
get
reaching out to
Do
you
that.
through Slack? Because I literally don't
They've been emailing.
check
me,
a
calling
Slack ever.
me. Yeah. But that's something that I
Old
feel like
lady.
we can offer our perspective on the industry and what works and what doesn't, more so than just the product feedback too.
We're going to be like Michael Lee was when he was on XPAC and he had
Yeah.
no idea what Xero was.
Like he's
really.
not even a Xero partner, but he applied. That's how I know him, at least. He was on our team.
I feel good
for a
about
while.
that one with FreshBooks because I think Twyla. I trust her. I think Twyla.
Yep.
She'll figure out a way to make it work well, but it's early. I mean, who knows?
For everybody,
Right
she
now, it's all-
cares.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she'll get it
I
figured
could tell
out,
by
but-
her questionnaire, initial questionnaire was very organized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as for
She's good people.
using that software, yeah,
Shout out to
there's a
Twyla.
bit of a learning curve. I'm going to have to.
Well, but see, you have the ability to get a team on it or somebody on it, and I think I kind of do too. So I used that. I said, you know what, talk to my team because they need to get excited about this, and you got to decentralize that thing too, and make it so they get excited about the product, and then you can start. We could be on their directory and get leads that way. Like that's how we did with Xero.
Okay, time
Scott
out.
just loves
Time
the
out.
word decentralized ever since you read that book.
I say that
You
shit
say
always, man. I
decentralized
gotta stop
every
with
time.
that.
I'm
I
like,
don't-
that is not the
it's
right
the first
way
word
to
that
use
comes
that
to
word.
mind. Oh God,
The government
I
is
know.
decentralized. Actually, no,
Is it?
the government is not decentralized. Sorry, that was a
They're
bad.
not decentralized. I thought I
I don't
knew
know
what the
what
word
the
meant.
two of you are
now
even
it
talking
got
about right
bastardized.
now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nicole's just tired of me saying
That was
it.
a bad example too.
All right.
No,
so
no.
Kenji, your team on a ground level though, to get the team involved on something like that, I feel like that's what partners are good for because they have the resources to train the team too. Like that's a whole new level to this. Is like you don't have to waste a lot of time banging your head against the wall for things because partners have put that shit together. Like they have the tutorials, they have the tests, they have the training materials, everything. It's their responsibility though.
I
so-
think that's true, but here's what I also think that essentially accountants are in this partnership, and that is we are level 1 support essentially for all these
clients.
tech partners. We are that's what we're there to do. So of course it makes sense for them to train us up and our team on it. And typically most of these partners train you up on how to use the software, how to I always had that theory. And I remember being at XeroCon, I don't remember which one it was, and Rod Drury, the founder, was up on stage and he essentially said that. And I was sitting next to Matthew, my partner, we're like elbowing each other. We're like, see, that is one of the big pieces of value that we as accountants provide back to the tech partners is they don't have to staff up support nearly as much because they can utilize the accounting partners and our teams to be that tier 1 support or whatever you want to call it. Right.
But we can charge for that, and we make
Right.
money.
We should
doing
charge
that.
for it. We should charge for it. There's ways to do that, but we should be incentivized in some way, whether it's good training, whether through rev share, whatever it might be, because we are saving them huge cost and saying like, you don't have to staff up your support arm nearly as big as you would if they were going directly to the small business owner.
Well, that offers a lot more clarity for different partner programs. You're basically the focal point to all of your clients. And now all of your clients could come to you, and that saves them loads and loads of support teams. If you scale
it does.
that,
It's a benefit to us too, where it's like, oh, I'd rather our clients be coming to us. Like, I don't want them to go around us, right? Because there's opportunity to monetize that. But I just think that's something that is fair for the tech partners to recognize, that we are providing a tremendous level of support that they don't have to deal with if they train us up correctly. And, and we're using the software well. So there should be things like rev share.
Yeah.
Absolutely should be.
So getting paid, that's a good
Get
one.
that paid.
So Nicole, did we outline what makes a good partner?
Yeah, I was going to add to that. I would like to see more training from partners on how to use the product. So when we hire a new employee, it's really easy just to like, here's a training course. And then onboarding, helping, Gusto does help with onboarding.
Gosh, I love
one thing I've been
Gusto,
talking
though.
to Relay about was like the client, we add in Relay and they get stuck in some part of the process, and then we're having to deal with it. Whereas we wish they would be more proactive in reaching out to the client and be like, hey, you got stuck uploading this piece. How can I help you? So I know that's something they're working on. But anything that can help us get the client on the product faster would be nice.
Well,
Can I ask a question to you guys? Because Scott, you referenced it, and I think this is something that I think naively, when we started partnering, I thought one of the things that partners were going to do is funnel us a whole bunch of leads. I was like, yes, we about to get paid. And my experience has been that's not been the case. No matter, Acuity's a fairly high level partner. Within most of these apps, we're usually at least in the top tier, if not maybe the second. We're up there pretty high. Have you guys ever seen much legit lead flow? Maybe we're screwing it up, doing it wrong, but like if any of these partners, have you ever seen a whole lot of lead flow that's converted into like good clients? I'm just curious.
just Xero.
Scott gets a lot of leads.
Actually, I
from
do
Xero.
with Xero and I do with Gusto.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
We get a
Pageant,
lot
I
of-
guess that does.
It's not
guess
Paget overall, though.
Oh, it's
Paget
not.
uses ADP. Everybody in Paget uses ADP. I'm the only one that uses Gusto, but we're like
So you're getting
USA.
significant lead flow from the partners.
Dude, we get like at least, I mean, not significant. We get like 3 or 4 a week.
That's significant.
That's significant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm living off of that, really.
My
like,
God.
I don't make
That's-
any efforts to market. I just partner with different platforms and
Here's
maximize the
here's my
system. Yeah.
opinion on that is I think that's unique. I don't know what you're doing,
Yeah.
but I think that's
Well,
unique.
I'm a unique person. I do things differently. I go against the grain. No, I'm kidding. I
Well,
have
there's
no
your
idea what
selling
I'm doing
point for
either.
Pageant. Aren't you supposed to start
Seriously?
selling Pageant?
Yeah,
Like
no,
somehow
to sell
Paget
that
magically
shit.
converts leads that come just through from Gusto and Xero and whoever else. Like I'm sure we do get lead flow, but oftentimes it's not legit leads. It's like, oh, someone's got some weird random question about Xero, and it's not really, they're not a buyer.
So we don't
of
get anything from Xero anymore.
I should
Don't-
look. We get
yeah.
that report. All of us get that report that shows.
They don't do the report anymore on
Yeah,
the
they do.
Xero HQ.
Yeah, they do.
Well,
It's there.
Last time I looked, it didn't update since November, but I maybe I gotta go check it out
Okay.
again. But
I
Xero was great
That was
about those
one to where
reports,
I'm
though.
like,
That
I
was
think
pretty cool.
I used to go into partnerships thinking like I'd put that in my list of like pros, like this is going to be really beneficial and valuable. And then it never really materialized. Like it's not something that like now I look at like when people say, oh, we're going to send you leads. I'm like, okay, whatever. I don't dismiss
Well,
it.
you can't rely on it like I did
don't
because
rely
that really messed us up because it changed our perspective on taking on clients, and we were just taking on Xero clients, and it felt like this is great. Anybody that comes to us is going to want to go to Xero, but that's how they were finding us. So of course they wanted to go to Xero. That was easy. Now it's like we got to deal with QuickBooks and Xero. So, I mean, we're in bed with most of the partners here. I'm not gonna go with the analogies anymore.
Yeah, right.
Now I'm very self-conscious about the words that I use. Like I can't say
Don't-
decentralized
if you
anymore
do
because
that with
Nicole's
us, I'm gonna be
secretly
really
be judging me
annoyed.
the whole time. So it's let's round it out and close it out on partners. I think part 2 for partners is very appropriate,
Did we decide
especially
on
on the
What's the name?
Tuesday, on our very special holiday that we will only live once. 22 twos. Can we play that in the background like Jay-Z's 22 twos? Have you ever heard that, Kenji? He freestyles.
I don't think so.
It's on Jay-Z's first album, and this is shout out to Jay-Z if he's listening.
I'm sure it is.
It's
But you know what Jay-Z's
incredible-
also doing? Jay-Z wants to know what the new word for tech partners is.
Yeah. So the new word,
said
Kenji,
that-
you're going to end it at that. Yeah.
No,
So
Nicole's question. That's a good question. I
Okay.
said like colleague, associate,
solutions.
tech stack solution.
Maybe we have
I don't
someone do
know.
a call. We'll do that. We'll have it be a call-in. People can submit.
Call
what
in.
they think
Yeah,
it should
So
be
listeners,
Submit
follow us on
your
LinkedIn
ideas.
and submit it on LinkedIn. Nicole's going to monitor that. Go on there and tell us which partners, or what partners should be called in the future, and make sure it's not a P word, so we don't have to come back and revisit it. Or if it is a P word, we will come back and revisit
You and your
it.
words,
So,
dude.
I know.
don't understand.
I don't know if it's getting old or it's just getting better. Like, does it get better with age, or does it?
It's getting weirder and
stale?
weirder. I
Yeah.
should not have started off with the top throwing all those P's out there, but I knew what I was doing. I knew
loved
it'd get
it.
you all worked
Yeah.
up, and I like doing that. But I'm like,
It's a whole new perspective, right?
the episodes
That's
are cracking me up because I'm like, what is he doing with these words?
Yeah.
Like, all the
It's
Ps.
unpredictable too, right? You
Well,
can offer your
it just
predictions
takes
for the
you
day.
off on these really crazy tangents because you hit like a word or a couple words, and it's like I love how excited you are. Like, I don't know other people who get excited about words with P's in them, and like you get super stoked about it.
Scott goes
So
on
I'm
so
a
many
philosopher.
tangents. He goes on so many tangents. But then some days he's like, all right, we got to get back on track. Like if I go off for 1 second, he's got to bring it back. But he goes on tangents all the time.
Nicole said Scott the philosopher.
That's why I sent you that song today,
know.
Scott, about
Yeah.
philosophy.
So that will be an episode P in the future. So stay tuned for the philosophy episode.
Take us home.
Take us home. Drive it away.
I don't even
Get
know
in
where
the
to take this
station
thing.
wagon.
We're so far off the tracks.
The S5. Yeah, we are off the tracks.
All right. So if anyone wants to
How do you like the
comment,
S5?
Oh, I love it. It's great.
And I don't even know if that's a good question. I think this was
Or
good.
how about
A
if
very
you-
good deep dive into what partners mean to accounting firms. And I think we've offered a lot of good points and food for thoughts.
Yeah, no, I think it's good for partners too. We get a lot of partners who listen to the show, so
Oh, and it's very good for sponsors. So we'll get some.
yeah.
Hopefully
Oh,
get some
then we didn't
sponsors
even
out
talk
of
about
this.
that. A good partner sponsors the show.
Yes, a good partner
That's what the
does.
best partners
Duh.
That is the best partners. So for
Sponsor
anybody that we
Sons of
mentioned, that we
CPAs.
shouted out, I will be delicately mentioning you guys in this episode and maybe reaching out later to potentially partner up with some cool podcasts in the future. Maybe
Can I do a plug
Sons of
in mine?
CPAs. Plug it. Yeah.
I was
Drink
gonna
while you
say,
think.
We're also looking for partners to drink while you think, but all you have to do is send us beer.
Yes.
Now, the only problem with that is, guess what? Sending beer is a bigger pain in the ass than writing
It is
a check.
not though. This
It's okay.
happened. Grizzle. Have you heard of Grizzle?
I know. I'm just
So-
saying.
So
Anybody can
the
sponsor us to send us beer. That's all you
Digits
gotta do.
sent me champagne. That was unique.
What?
Digits sent me some champagne. They said we're going to send you something cool. And
We
the
got,
next
you know what we got
day,
from Digits? We got
what'd you get?
Valentine's Day candy, and you got champagne.
Wow. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say it sounded like that, but that's a cool partner that I haven't even checked
No,
out
it
their
was
product,
cool.
and
It
I'm
was
on
nice
their
they sent us
advisory
something.
board too. I can't believe that we ended up here
wait, it
because
wasn't
they
Digits,
send
sorry. It
alcohol.
wasn't Digits.
I thought that
It
was
was-
so cool. They can use Grizzled like that. Is it called Grizzled? I have the piece of paper here somewhere, but it's like
It's okay, Scott. Just
they gave a receipt. That was really all right.
All right, we gotta wrap
Land
this
Thank
the
you,
up.
plane.
everybody.
I gotta
Pop the
go.
champagne. Pop bottles. And so let's not discount the fact that this is another plus episode. So you guys were treated to a very, very special
Present?
friend.
production.
Yeah, plus. It's a plus. This is like, yeah, a very special production. Thank you. This is why we have him here. You're our rock solid correspondent on the floor about partners. You got the perspective on it. I keep going back to that word. Lost my train of thought. Can somebody else close this out? Because I'm just gonna keep running on.
Mom,